that thing was like taped, like 3 layers of tape across the box, and then it had a bubble wrap taped around it, and then it had another bubble wrap taped around it, and each bubble wrap layer had like 3 layers of tape on it, and then it had an outer box with 3 layers of tape on it.
Wow.
It took me like 15 minutes to get that thing open.
Honestly, I'm amazed it actually showed up. I did submit a support claim saying that I thought it was a scam and that I was never going to see it. And so I'm really glad you got it.
I mean, it was all in Chinese, so it could have been.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely, the company was called Feel Good Gifts. So I thought,
I'll just Google that. I'm sure it'll go swimmingly.
I was wondering
I'm
why.
start taking us live on Facebook, so no more feel good jokes.
Nope, we're live. It says George Acorn is live right now. So
yeah, right. So everybody, we're why am I only seeing you and me? Tali, can you say something?
Yep, I got it.
Bueller.
I'm not, well, I guess it would be delayed. So anyway, so sorry everybody. We're trying to get ourselves sorted. It's been a while since we've done a Facebook Live from Zoom. It's Bill, myself, and Talia. But fortunately for you all, you just get to look at pretty old me and Bill. So yeah. And which is a shame because Talia's got this great ad for the sweepstakes up. So why don't we start first with like, we haven't done an Unfair Advantage podcast in a while. We recently had to change platforms, which we moved to Anchor, which is Spotify's platform. Is that right, Talia?
I know it's hosted with Spotify, but it is not inherently Spotify.
But anyway, we're on some new platforms. We're back on Apple and whatever. It's back, and all those old podcasts are there. We're going to get back in practice of doing some more, particularly like with some guests or people we're talking to for the magazine, which kind of leads me to today's podcast. We decided to do a team rather than having a guest on like we often do. We're going to do a team show today and kind of go through some stuff about the magazine, actually, because we recently did a survey. So before we jump into that survey, which was a lot of questions about the magazine itself, would either one of you want to tell them what the survey was or what we're giving away today as a result of that survey?
Sure. We sent out a membership survey back it's a couple months ago now at this point. And what we did was we polled all of the active members, obviously, with several questions. How satisfied are you with the club? What do you like about Quattro magazine? That kind of stuff.
Silvercar sponsored the survey, right? And so we have a prize from Silvercar, which is pretty rad.
Yep. So Silvercar by Audi gave us a prize to randomly pick from all the people who did the survey, and we're going to randomly pick one. So, and we'll tell you what the prize is. Oh, what did they get? Well, you get a 3-day free rental from Silvercar by Audi, located across the U.S. I mean, we can help you look for locations of Silvercar locations, but 3 days with a Silvercar. Come on.
So you need a loaner, or you just want to go put some miles on somebody else's car. Silvercar. Every car's an Audi. Can't go wrong.
Nope.
Yeah. All right. And so then today, obviously, you see Bill's on there. He's a usual on this show, so no big deal. Talia Pacala has also joined us. Talia is on the Audi Club staff now, and she joined us back in February and does events, sponsorship. Really everything else that we do is probably her. So hi, Talia.
Hi. And I'm just here for moral support because you guys are absolutely killing it. So feel free to let me know if I need some mic upgrades.
One of the things we noticed when Talia used to work for APR, who most people in the space will know, is when we would interview and do some stuff with APR on Facebook Live, she was not the most fond of going live with us because, I don't know, because she's better than us or something. But, I know, it seems kind of snobby, but all right. So I'll jump into this. Talia, won't put you on the spot anymore. I've already done enough. But So I want to point this out. The first question we asked, by the way, we're gonna go through a lot of this. And if you have questions or comments, you want to tell us how terrible we are, how great we are, whatever, in regards to the magazine, please do. This survey covered a lot of bases. We're not covering all those bases. We're only going to cover the magazine. Some of it's entertaining though, because we got some pretty good comments, and I'll try and like answer some questions or maybe comment on some comments, particularly the most egregious. They're always the most fun. But anyway, one of the first things we asked was, how satisfied are you with the magazine? I think we're doing okay. We got, let's see, you're very satisfied. We got 704 votes, which was like 68% of the voting. We got somewhat satisfied. Seems like room for improvement, but 279, 27%. Somewhat dissatisfied, 35 votes. So I'm not doing too well as editor of the magazine with those people, but that's 3.4%. And then very dissatisfied, kick the bastard out. That's probably about where that goes. There are 13 of y'all, lucky 13, and that's 1.26%. So I think overall we're doing positive, but we're always looking to improve and always happy to listen to critique. Again, we're going to have some here. So we're even going to lead with one maybe a little bit. So we'll get to that. But if you have comments, we're watching the comments on the Facebook Live. So feel free to add if you, I don't know, if you have some thoughts one way or the other. So first comment from somebody was, I guess the answer is, what do you think could be improved about Quattro magazine? So we're going to get all comers, right? First one is marketing crap from Audi, remove. So really quick, this is a magazine for Audi Club North America. So we are pro Audi, right? Like it's a club for people who really like owning Audi. So anyway, we're going to, have Audi. I don't know that's marketing crap. Do you think it's marketing crap, Bill?
Well, I mean, it's not propaganda. I mean, but it's not marketing crap.
It's marketing crap, Bill.
Well, I mean, how refined do you want me to say it? No, I don't think it's marketing crap. I mean, we do, a section that we do in the magazine is Audi news, right? What's the different models that are coming out, any kind of spy photos that we that we get. I mean, it's Audi news, and I could see how some people. Yes, I can see how some people think that it may be propaganda from Audi, but it's not.
Yeah. Cover to cover, it's Audi stuff, so it may seem that way. I will say, so in this space, I used to do a website called Fortitude. It was all about Audi. I was independent completely, not part of Audi Club, but I would say there was more hands-on, at least, interaction from Audi and thoughts about what we covered, and even comments sometimes if I covered something that didn't really go the way I guess they expected. But with this, we're kind of given our own. I have yet to get to any negative comments from, maybe that means I'm doing too much marketing crap, but we really don't ask them what to cover. And we try and do things that are more what we think on trend or interesting to current members. So that might be events that people are doing, but also like with the current issue, which is off-road, they are selling a lot more SUVs nowadays. I think that was like 70% of sales last month were SUVs, but actually not really much SUV stuff in that issue. It's a lot of like wagons and lifted other things. So we don't really try and toe a line, but of course we're going to be pro Audi. So next comment, nothing really. The new version is a huge improvement. Thanks. That's probably one of the 70%. I appreciate that.
I mean, we redesigned it back in 2019, right?
Yeah. So this one's interesting. It's some constructive criticism from what sounds like a magazine aficionado. But he says, Car and Driver is an excellent magazine to emulate. Yes, we all love Audi, but it seems like it would be nice if you had an unbiased comparison of Audi models in specific situations. For example, Q3 versus Q5 or Q7 versus Q8 on a road trip or off-road. Or is it worth the upgrade type of articles for new model years, etc. I have a 2016 A7. Is the 2021 model worth an upgrade, or should I wait a couple more years? Probably, actually, that's actually a pretty good idea. Maybe we do some like a summary of, let me jump around, but a summary of like what the model year changes are when they do the order guide. And maybe we can kind of touch on that people might see that. I will say, so the way this works with cars, right? I'd love to do comparison articles. Of course, we're Audi Club, so I don't think we call up, Mercedes or BMW PR and we're like, hey, we want to do a comparison with your SUVs. gonna be like, yeah, no thanks, guys, take a hike. But who knows? Otherwise, we have done some version comparisons in the last year. They weren't really direct comparisons, like we did Q5 hybrid versus e-tron, kind of stuff like that. So we're starting to do more biased or unbiased. I mean, I think I'm pretty good at being unbiased, but again, it's Audi Club and their magazine. So obviously we're probably going to be a little rah-rah home team. Sorry about that. But I think the line I always used at Fortitude was like, it's an Audi fan site. It's not Edward R. Murrow stuff, right? So Car and Driver is very much a really great in-depth, in-market product comparison. Motor Trend also, a lot of sites out there that kind of cover that kind of stuff. But we'll do our best to do more comparisons. And certainly, I think that's a good note. I think we just covered A3 S3. Talia went to Colorado and drove that. And as an A3 owner and RS3 owner, she spoke to it. But yeah, we'll do more of that. Is it worth buying the new one? Certainly. Let's see here. Some of the ads that state upgrade your stage 1 and 2 and keep your warranty, little misleading. Well, yeah, advertisers, that's kind of their space. They control it, right? So when they buy an ad where, it's kind of on them that they can't false advertise. I can say, just from my own perspective, what I've seen in the past, right? Like Audi doesn't, there was always that perspective back in the Stasis days. If you remember a tuning company called Stasis, where there was this assumption of a lot of people that warranties were, the Audi just covered the warranty on that. And that kind of gave a bit of a challenge for other players in the space. There are players in the space that offer warranties. Those are their own warranty. So the warranty of a tuner or an aftermarket company will cover the car for failures associated with, I assume, read their warranty, because I'm not an expert on that, but it's not under the Audi warranty umbrella. So anytime you're tuning, I think it's pay to play. That's the opinion I take, right? Like I have an RS6 right now and I can barely afford it. So I'm not exactly looking to like turn it up to stage 3 and break crap. But so even if it were warranted, I'm very reliant upon that new car warranty with this car. And not that I've needed it, but it's nice having that coverage. And if you get, flagged and you lose that warranty, that's kind of a big deal. So whenever you're doing that sort of tuning, again, pay to play, talk to your tech advisor, ask them. But yeah, I would, anytime there's a warranty in play, that's an additional warranty from that company. It doesn't cover the whole car. It just covers the components you're adding or associated failures. So again, read up on it. There were a lot of assumptions made back in the old days that it just kind of Audi covered everything. They didn't. That's not what was agreed upon by Audi and never was, but there were a lot of people assuming that. So worth doing your homework if you're buying anything expensive for your expensive car. Don't just assume that, told there's a warranty and you're good. I would definitely look into it. It's great because it provides coverage. If you want to tune, awesome. But do your homework. Don't rely on just the word warranty to cover you. Let's see here. More diversity in the writers. Seems like the same people all the time. Hey, that's a good time to point out. Yeah, we added, because it's a lot of dudes normally, we added a couple women contributors this last year, which I'm really proud of. We'd love to see a wider team. And that said, I just had an editorial meeting last night. Most of the regular players couldn't attend for whatever reason. We usually do this in between every issue, like right after an issue drops, we'll have an editorial meeting for the next coming issue. Everybody gets their assignments, they start writing. Everybody, as it turned out last night, Talia put out a call for new contributors, and we got a bunch. So love that those people joined. It's a pretty diverse group. You're going to see a lot of new faces in the upcoming issue as a result. But if you're ever interested in volunteering for the magazine, you want to write, we're here for, the way this magazine is produced is a little bit different, where like it's for a membership, right? So I don't really have as much of a freelance budget or a budget to have staff writers. That's kind of non-existent. There's a little bit of a budget, but it's pretty much, it's very limited for specific things. So we have members who contribute, whether that's writing about events in your, that your chapter might hold, or events that you might attend, or drives you might have done, or we have feature cars we do. We typically have a bunch of story ideas that we throw on the storyboard for the next issue. And then we go through those, see who wants to take which assignments, and then people give their own story pitches. and we can go with them as well. So again, for the next issue, we're going to do a vintage theme. That was mostly the focus last night. Some of the pitches we got weren't exactly vintage themes, so they might go in the next issue after that. But it's going to be neat. You're going to see a lot of new faces, and we're always open to more. And if you're not an experienced writer or experienced photographer, we'll try and hook you up with an experienced photographer to get that done. And we can certainly, we get all levels of writer. So some people come in and we really don't touch it much at all. Others, they might want it to be a little more hands-on, and we can kind of go back and forth of improving their craft, or some just, want to write what they write, and then we adjust it so that it's up to speed for the voice of the magazine and edited and everything else. And then we go. So sometimes it's a heavy rewrite, very occasionally, but we're always open, and the door is open for members who want to take part. If you're not a member and you want to take part, still love to have you, but join the club, because that's probably why you're getting the magazine in the first place. We're going to go all night if I keep going along on these answers this way. So I'd ask Talia what she thinks, but she's muted. Oh, she can be muted.
I absolutely wholeheartedly agree with everything you said, George. I know I know a lot of people want to see more diversity, and I think it really just comes down to our doors are always open. So it'd be great to see more people. And if you've got an idea, even for an article, write into us at admin@audiclubna.org, and we'll talk to you. And even if you're not that great of a writer, we've got plenty of editing teams here that can help kind of work off of potentially one of your ideas. So definitely reach out. Don't be scared.
Plan on that. One thing that came up last night with all the new writers who volunteer this time around, we have kind of two types of when you're talking about like a lower experience level with writing, we have kind of two types of contributors at that level. We have some people who are kind of just starting and want to kind of hone their craft and get better at it. And if they're contributing, what I asked them last night was, please contribute earlier so we have more time to get through it, edit it, and get back to them, and it can be more collaborative. Then we have other people who just want to write what they write. They trust us to cover it and massage it for the magazine and run, and so that can come in a little bit later. But again, we can work with all types. So let's see here.
You worked with me,
yeah.
So.
Now that's he's either plugging himself as a badass or he's self-deprecating. Which is it, Bill?
It's reader's choice today.
Okay. You do look like a newscaster with that screen behind you. Just saying that. RS3 just popped up. Good looking car. Anyway, for those who can't see, if you're listening to the podcast, Bill is sitting in front of a screen with a rotation of Audi imagery behind him, so he looks like a newscaster. All right. Let's see here. I never read it. So I guess that's I
never read it.
They never read it. So sorry. Anyway, next up, unbiased road tests of new models. I'd like to think we do our best to be unbiased. Mileage road tests of older models showing pluses and negatives after 50,000. Boy, that's interesting. Or 75,000, 100,000. How do you control that though? I'd like to do it, but man, that suggests resources of. Well, I'll tell you what we are doing right now. I bought the RS6 and it's cool. So we're trying to do kind of almost like a long-term test, like Motor Trend does. Those are usually long-term loans from the manufacturer. Audi doesn't really do those as much anymore. They used to do. Most of the magazines did these back in the day. I did them at Fortitude. But we are doing kind of like a 4 seasons test, so like a year of testing. And I've already bought the car with 6,000 miles on it, and it's already got like 13, and that was last August. So we're definitely driving it, logging some miles on it, and we're kind of touching on that. The hard part with like taking an older car and talking about how it's holding up is like if you're buying a used car, you don't really know how it was treated before you. So I don't know that that's really indicative, or the typical what you might expect. So not sure how we would do that. But if that's your comment or you have ideas about how we might do that, it's really interesting to you, drop us a line. Hi, Rico. Appreciate the smiley face.
Rico.
Good to see you, man. I hope you're doing well. I think I saw you had COVID recently. So I hope probably just sitting through your quarantine, listening to our conversation. So hopefully it's
bastard.
Yeah. So here, add more short stories on unique chapter events, cars and coffee events. Okay, so that's an ask, right? Like yes. For chapters, we've had some great stuff these last few issues. It's the slow time of year, so you don't see a lot right now. But if you're doing an event, whether it's a chapter event or whether it's even you're just going to a car show that's in your area that maybe isn't for the chapter, but you want to provide some coverage. I need the story written up. I need to know what's coming in. That helps. Like 2 issues ago, I got a bunch of contributions and didn't know they were coming. We had to scramble to, shorten stuff and kick some stuff out and play around to get it all in the book. We'll do our best to get it in the book, but I have one stipulation: photography. We need good photography. That's the one thing. Like, we can rewrite and go to websites and stalk a show that we didn't attend, but like talk about it anyway. I actually caught crap once because I did that on Vortex, and they had stuff on their website listed as activities that they didn't do, and then I was called a poser and I read it off the website.
I think I remember that one, George. So
Mark, what madness! Love you guys.
Yes.
We should do some Audi stuff there. I think I drove my 4000 there. I have had that car that long, but like, love that show. Cramping old cars, but it was all Mark 1s, and Audi had the Polos and stuff, but we never had a Mark 1. Anyway, so yeah, where I'm going with that is get some good photos, take as many as you can, take a real camera if you can, but if you have a good iPhone, then sometimes that can work.
Or
but
Android,
honestly,
or Android, George,
yeah.
So.
What was that? Tell you.
Well, so what you don't know is the reason I'm not on camera is because the pixelation is just so bad that you guys couldn't even see my face. So,
Talia,
those Androids.
Shaking my head, side to side. Listen, no, for those on audio. So, all right. So, take photos, and I will say when we while the new phones are getting better. When you put things, I'm holding a magazine up. When you put things on a cover or on a page, you need big res. So the biggest you can get us, the better. If you're not sure of your photography skills, take a lot of photos, because when you shoot a lot, there's still going to be some good stuff in there, something we can use, and our layout editor will have more choices. But if you don't do photos, I can't really cover your event, right? We can do it on the, we get a couple low res photos. We can put it on the website and do something on the blog, but in print, I need to know what's coming, and I need photos. Those are the 2 things I can't really work around. So love to do more. And that's a great suggestion, whoever said that. But please take photos.
Yes. And on the flip, Talia, please go ahead.
I was going to say, the only suggestion I have as well is lean on your chapter. Reach out to people in your chapter that might be attending or that are, any kind of photographer, and ask them for help as well.
Yep. And I was going to say, on the flip side of the magazine, I run the blog, and I always want to showcase what the chapters are doing, albeit their own show, or if they're at somewhere else, their own event. So I'm always constantly asking, just like George said, take a ton of pictures. He has limited space in the magazine, obviously, for the layouts situation, but I can upload photos like crazy on the blog. And I want, obviously, to showcase what our chapters are working hard out there doing. So send it to me.
So speaking that segue, next comment is more space dedicated to regional club updates. So we do, at the back of the book, we do like, if you get like college magazine, you know how they have like every year the alumni book, and they'll have like
the
class of the class of 1999 had a rager at some bar or something. We do the same for all the chapters in the back of the book, and some chapters that have more active groups underneath them. Florida is a great example. They do a really good job with their regions. But even if you're like another club, I know some independent clubs have kind of joined up with a couple of our chapters, like Carolinas and Tennessee. If you want to have a presence for your group, that's fine. Submit it with the chapter and note it as your group, and we can make sure that's listed in there. But we typically earmark, in most issues, we earmark about, I don't know, was it 5 or 7 pages for chapter updates. And it's a range of what we get, guys. And often it's like, we have 32 chapters right now. It's herding through 32 different cats to get updates. Some chapters are better than others. Some are awesome. A lot of them are quite awesome, and we get a pretty regular contribution. But if you don't see it from your chapter regularly too, for whatever reason, and you think it ought to be, like maybe you're in one of those chapters that just never submits. We don't list all the chapters. Like, we don't list the ones who haven't submitted because we don't want to make them look bad. But like, sometimes they miss. I'm not trying to beat up on anybody who's not contributing, but we'd love to see contributions from your chapter there. So if you're not seeing it, you can reach out to us if you don't know who your chapter leadership is. A couple times, I live in Eastern PA, for instance. So if for some reason I don't see something coming in from Eastern PA, occasionally we miss it, then I will write something just because I'm not president of Eastern PA. But if we missed it, I can at least give a couple updates from what I know is going on in the place. So if you're in a particular place and you're not seeing an update from your chapter, you want to make an update, feel free. We'd love to get more updates from those chapters. If you're an unaffiliated club and you want to be associated in the magazine and whatever, reach out to us. We're working on some programs with that that we're going to be launching this year. But like, yeah, that's that. Let's hear. Everything is great. Of course it is. More frequent. That'd be cool to do. It requires budget. We're working on it. One of the things we're trying to do, I'd love to do like an annual. So like maybe that would allow us to do like one extra issue per year, and then maybe add a second, get to the point where we're doing 6 a year. But that's going to be kind of a step thing. And right now we're a little understaffed. What you're looking at right now, well, I think you're seeing 2 of us on Facebook, but Talia as well. The 3 of us are the full-time staff at the moment. And pre-pandemic, this was like a 5-person team. I don't know who the other 2 people I'm counting, but this was a 5-person team. So, and even there, I think we were spread a little thin. So we're running lean right now and kind of building back post-pandemic. They're coming back to the organization, but you know, where I'm going with that is we'd like to do more issues. It does take a lot of time. And so we're hoping to do more. We'll get some sponsors behind that so we don't have to adjust anything up on further on. One of the main costs with your membership is the cost of the magazine. So for us to add another magazine, we got to add advertising and income, support it, or we need to up prices in a way that would add more magazines in as well. So yeah, we'll try and do more frequent. That's nice. I like to think he likes he or she likes what they're getting. So there you go. Let me see. You could put me and my car in it again. Okay. I don't know who it was, but that's awesome. Let's see. It would be nice to have more issues, the same as before. I haven't received one.
But what about the best comment that came through? You know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
No? The one about more pictures of me? Come on.
More pictures of you?
Yes.
Was it from your wife?
Yeah.
Or your mom? No.
My mom.
I think my mom commented. My mom commented and said, make every page about George. But my mom's not an Audi Club member, so there you go.
Okay. You were saying.
Love you, Mom. Let's see here. I haven't received one. So real quick, if you are a member and you're not receiving them for some reason, it could be a number of things. It could be that membership expired, that you don't know for some reason. It could be that your address is wrong in our system. We do have, interestingly, when you go to print a magazine, who's a little behind the curtain details, guys. So when you go to print a magazine, when the printer, every time before we go to print, the printer will check your address against the U.S. Postal Service's list of addresses. So if it's not a real address or that person has moved or whatever, that data comes back. And we do our best to keep rest. If they leave a new address, that typically gets caught and flagged on our end. But make sure that your information is up to date with us. And if you're not getting it, again, it could be that you maybe have expired. Or it could be maybe, you know, we see all the time people on the Facebook group who's listening now may not be a member of Audi Club, but they want to get the magazine. Join Audi Club, audiclubna.org. Click on the join button. Go ahead and join. But we want to get that resolved regardless. So email admin@audiclubna.org or email bill.cho@audiclubna.org. Let us know your name. Let us know your issue. We'll get to the bottom of it. And there you go.
I just actually had someone write in with a new event segment idea. It's called Driving with Dave. And Dave says he wants to drive our Audis around the country and have us just pay and have him write in about how awesome it is.
Well, I'll tell you, if we can make it financially viable and you're making some interesting content, I'm not against the idea. But that's the trick. So... Yeah, thanks, Dave. No, I'm serious. If you think you got a real pitch, we have to finance it too, right? So who's the sponsor? How are we going to make it happen? I don't have a huge editorial budget with this book. Like I said, we work mostly with volunteers. Karen Manat, hi. Saw you comment on Facebook. Thanks for saying you enjoyed the current issue. Hi, Dave. Is that the same Dave that wanted to drive around the country? I see there's a Dave who commented on that.
You know, confidentiality requires me that I can't disclose what David is, but yeah, maybe.
Both Daves.
It's Dave, man. It's Dave.
Well, Dave, I'm game. I just need a pitch and I need a way to finance it. But if we can do that, yeah, let's figure it out. Let's see here. Increased publications during COVID lockdowns since retired and unvaccinated individuals are being discriminate. I'm not going to get into COVID discrimination, and I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be, but everybody's got an opinion on COVID and vaccinations. I'm not going near that one. That's a grenade waiting to happen. Porsche Club does monthly magazine. Quarterly is not frequent enough. It's old news. So we have the blog on the website, and that's daily news. So I would say check out audiclubna.org. Quarterly, would love to do more, but that would actually cost a bit more too. Porsche Club, just as a comparison, has like 10 times the members we do. And when you have that, you can afford staff and some other things and do volumes of magazines. When you do volumes like that, it would cost quite a bit less. I mean, it really drops exponentially. So I hear you, and I'd love to do more, but we got to walk before we can run on that one. Would love to make it monthly. Actually, I wouldn't, because that'd be really hard work, a lot of effort. But like, I'm all kidding aside, we could certainly do it monthly if the business makes sense. And we know that others like Porsche Club do it, so we'd love to get there too. We're just not there yet. Let's see here. Maybe an area inside where we list all the benefits that are posted, current sponsors, shout out to the lifetime members, maybe feature a few. Not much is really needed, as it's great. So let's see here. Let's touch on a couple of these. Benefits are posted. If you're a member, you can log in to the website, top right-hand corner of the website. Again, audiclubna.org, and there's a list in there. Correct, Bill?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that changes a lot, guys. So like when you have a quarterly issue, and then we'll go to an event and hand out back issues sometimes that are months old, a discount or whatever, a relationship may change with a particular advertiser or discount. And so we don't list those in the magazine for that reason. However, it is always there on the website, and it's real time. So by all means, please do that. Again, not a member, join. And then there's a member login area, and that's where you'll find it. Let's see here. The other one on that, current sponsors. There is a list of sponsors. There's an index for all the sponsors in each book. Now, that's not all the sponsors of the magazine, all the sponsors of the club, but it is all the sponsors of that particular issue of the magazine. And it's usually near the front, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like right after
you're looking at an issue there.
I say that, but it is here. I saw it.
Yeah. I think he moved it to the back like an issue or two ago, but it's I know we do it every issue, and I know we check it whenever we're copy editing. We're checking all the numbers for the locations of the ads. So that's there. Let's see here. Shout out to lifetime members. Yeah. There you go. What page is that?
That was well, in this is Q4 that I'm looking at. It is towards the back of the book. It's the advertisers directory.
What page is that on in that issue?
Page 112.
Oh yeah, okay. That was the issue where we added.
This is the Q4 one. Yep.
Got it. So yeah, currently at the back of the book. I think we had it in the front previously, but that's where it is now. Let's see here. There was another lifetime members. It'd be cool to do an interesting shout out towards lifetime members. I'll have to think about something about that way. And then it's great. Thank you. More about members. So we are starting to do more stories about people. And I know with this issue, we have a couple people who are doing cool things, whatever. But again, if you have some ideas and you want to throw them at us, we sometimes know who the more higher visibility, like I know one of the stories we're working on for the next issue is Doug DeMuro, the YouTuber, has a RS2 that he dailies. We're going to be doing something on that. Brian Scotto, who's a member, is Hoonigan. He built that car for SEMA. Doing something like that. When you're high visibility like that, you usually come across our awareness. But like if you're not high visibility, I'm sure you're still doing interesting things or driving interesting cars or whatever. Drop us a note. And the other thing is we added some we do the member profiles in the back, and we've also added this Audi autobiography thing where if you've had a lot of Audis in your back portfolio, if you will, maybe you currently own them or maybe you've just owned them over the years. What we've done is it's more of like the last issue. I think we highlighted Howden Haynes, the engineer for Audi Sport, who's had a bunch of cars. And then of course, because it's Howden, we also included some of the cars he engineered on. But we do a picture of each car and a sentence about each car, and it's pretty lean, but it's a neat way to see your entire back catalog on the cars you've owned. Bill's holding up to the screen. If you're on the podcast, you may not see that, but it's kind of a neat layout, and we're trying to do more things that kind of feature members like that. So
we do the Instagrammers. Dennis Podmarkov that's his column, the Instagrammers you need to follow. We have the member profile that shows, it's a short story just a short paragraph of the member, where they live, what they drive.
Yeah. Let me go into that one. So if you want to get admin at AudiClubNA.org, if you want to send us for a member profile, I need a couple photos to choose from, maybe at least one, but a couple would be great. Name, hometown, state, or country if it relates, right? I need your year of your car and your model, because sometimes it's not obvious that your S6 isn't an A6 because you've put, an RS grill on it, or a different bumper or whatever. So like, make sure that we get the model, because we don't want to undersell you, and the year, and then a couple paragraphs about yourself. If you email that to admin@AudiClubNA.org and get that to us, we'll get you in the list to get you in a future issue. If you want to be featured in Audi autobiography, go ahead and email me directly, george.acorn@AudiClubNA.org, and like, give me a couple photos of what you do. I do sometimes get photos where like, the year all the Porsches I've had, and here, the Volkswagens I've had, and whatever, because we're Audi Club, trying to keep it to the Audi stuff. So I get it. I have cars that aren't Audis too, and I love them dearly, but trying to focus on the Audi. So send that in too, and we'd love to get that lined up. I know we have one locked in for the next issue, but beyond that, we don't have too much of a plan for that. It usually comes together as we're doing the issue. So if you want to submit yourself for it.
So you're saying you're not going to profile all my Volkswagens?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Man. I thought
so this is the campaign. Hashtag buy an Audi Bill. That's what. Let's see here. Oh, we got some new comments in here, so I'm going to go in and check. Chris May, hi, how you doing?
I think somebody said. I think Carol said, "Stop picking on Bill." Just saying.
Right. Well, I was trying to like go to the comments as sort of a smoke grenade to get away from beating up on Volkswagens, because I actually dig Volkswagens. But let's see here. Doug Koza, good to see you, Dougie. Yeah, everybody's on Bill's side. What's up with that? And then how about an updated interview with Alan McNish? Carol Manott would love to. I will have to see where we can run into Alan. If he's, I know he was doing the Formula E program, but this year, for people who don't know, Audi Sport pulled out the factory Formula E program, and the only Audi running in Formula E this year is Virgin Racing, which Alan is not associated with. So that's the Richard Branson team, and they'll be competing at. So if you go to the race in the Canada or the US or anywhere else for that matter, there will be an Audi in the field, but I don't think we'll be spotting Alan there. So I don't know what he's up to at the moment. I know he's still associated with Audi Sport. We just have to find him somewhere. See Doug. He said buy an Audi Bill is trending already, Bill. So I don't know. I will say, Doug, I sent him today get this, tell me you wouldn't buy this, a C4. It looks like early Audi exclusive, interior, exterior. It's green. It's a wagon. It's an A6 TDI manual, 2.5 inline. If there's not a car nerdier than that, I don't know what is. And it's affordable. It's also got 200,000 miles on it, and it's in Europe. But beyond that, it looks perfect. And so, trying to get Bill to buy it. You gonna buy it, Bill?
Yes. That's my
there
first
you go.
Audi.
There we go.
Good answer.
Do we have a crowd cheering? No, we don't have any sound effects. We need a bigger budget.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Toddy. I was looking for that.
Telly gave us a cut. Yeah, we need a budget because we need to send Dave around the country, and we need an audio track of people cheering.
There you go. High five.
There we go.
All right.
We have a great question. When are we getting a hard copy of Bill's 2021 Best of Daily Photoshops?
Oh.
You know what? Okay. Yeah, that's like but my wife did give me a hard copy of it. So anyway.
Nice little coffee book table.
For those who don't know, Bill is a Photoshop master of himself in famous movie and pop culture reference pictures. So if you follow Bill on Facebook or you become his friend, who doesn't need more friends, especially if you're Russian hack bots on Facebook, fan Bill Cho, because you'll definitely want to see his images. They make great meme fodder.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Back to we're wandering. A little more HPDE coverage of the different regions.
Anyway, sorry.
Thanks, Bill. Betty White reference. Not the HPDs, but Bill's imagery. All right. So more HPD coverage. Again, go back to the event coverage. take photos, guys. There are a couple chapters. I will say, like, calling out John Sullivan, who runs our performance driving education committee. John last year did 2 events where they went out of their way to, like, they hired a specific photographer. I don't know that you need to do that, but could you just get somebody there with a camera? So John went out of his way. They held a car show there for people who weren't taking part, while they had Summit Point rented, and they were able to give rides to people who won their classes. It was a really, really, like, textbook way to, like, really rethink it and do some cool stuff. So John killed it with that one, and took a lot of photos. The guy who they submitted, we had a ton of photography. We couldn't possibly use it at all. NEQ did the same thing last year. They did an event at Lime Rock, same deal. I think it was a anniversary event, and they got really great shots. And in that one, it was a lot of people shots too, which we love. It shows people kind of enjoying the event and a real flavor of the event if you weren't there. So always happy to do more coverage for the chapters of people who want to see it. If you're there, take a lot of photos, even if you're not, like, assigned to do it. If you want to see it in the magazine, I'm not opposed to you guys making a pitch for it. If you don't think the chapter is going to cover it, but you want to cover it. And if you've got a photographic or artistic bent, even better. Love to see it.
For example, in our Q3 2021, the Potomac event that George was just mentioning in it. So, if y'all have, like George said, if you have great photography or good photography, and somebody to write it or not, because we can help you write it, we want to put more stuff. Because we want to highlight the chapter stuff also. I'm
going to skip over some of these. Some of it's praise. Great. I'm not going to skip over anything that roasts us, but I'm going to skip over the praise because there are a lot of very nice compliments here. So thank you for that, but we don't need to get gluttonous on that. One of the ones that's interesting here, Bill, the next one is, I'm just not interested in receiving a magazine. So I think we've chatted about this. We're not there yet, but we are upwriting a new CRM system now we have been, actually, it's been a bit of a project, but that's a whole other podcast, or maybe not, because I wouldn't want to be on that podcast. But anyway, where I'm going with that is, like, one of the things we want to add here with the new system is the ability to unsubscribe from the magazine. If you don't want a print magazine around, some people don't, right? You prefer it. You either don't want to be, making waste of another magazine in the garbage if you don't like holding on to those sorts of things. Some people collect them, but if you're not that person and you just want to, toss it, or you don't want to be wasteful, we get it. I'm not going to be offended by that. We're going to look for a way, and actually brings our costs down anyway. So we're going to look for, we're going to be adding the ability to do that. And in addition, one of the things we want to do with the new system is to try and get more of the back catalog of magazines on digitally. So we'll work on that, but great suggestion. Even though I don't want to get the magazine, a little bit hurtful. I don't know. But no, seriously, great suggestion.
Let me get the knife out of my back here.
Yeah. Let's see here. More Audi corporate tech. We'll try and do more.
Did somebody just say they didn't want any more Audi stuff? But no,
that's just tech stories, which I get. There's a lot of new technology coming out, and I get it. It might be a nice thing we do have Tech Talk, which is Jim Benoit, who does the Tech Talk column in the back of the book. He usually covers a range of stuff, but if you have specifics you'd like to see him cover, drop us a note too. We're just usually looking for something that's current. So yeah, send that in. Let's see here. It's getting better, but I'd like to see more technical articles. Fair. I would say drop your suggestions to us. And if you want to write them, great too, because the current mix of people, I haven't really had people knocking down my door to do more technical stories, like how-tos and stuff like that. I assume is what you mean versus technology. But if you want to do something, drop us a line. But in cases like that, though, I guess I would say we want to make sure you know what you're doing, right? So like, I don't need, if you, like me, like I've probably, if you follow me on Instagram, I've done I don't know how many updates on screwing up trying to get some seat bases attached to small seats for my quattro project, and it's not been pretty for showcasing my technical abilities. So I'm not your guy, but if you are, we're open to it. Let's see here. More road testing comparisons to other brands. Hey, Audi PR, get us more cars. We'd love to do it. I know they've been great at getting us some more cars lately, so I'm not trying to beat up on them, but we'd love to do more road testing comparisons. So certainly open to it. More info on RS6 older cars. We're going to do an older car issue, so that's coming at you. And it was when I was on the, this might be interesting. When I was on the dark side and drove BMWs in the 80s, their magazines would do test drive reports on the completion with honesty. I think he means competition with honesty. I would like to see our cars up against Mercedes-Benz and BMW too. I think that's a legitimate ask, but the challenge with the way this works is most of the manufacturers have PR teams and PR fleets where you get access to these cars. And the challenge to it is lining up multiple cars at a given time to do a legitimate comparison. Sometimes we do them where we don't have them at the same time and we get creative with the layouts, get them close to each other, and you can kind of do that comparison. But it gets difficult because, as you might expect, Audi Club North America is not high on the list for cars from BMW, Mercedes, or wherever. But we'll put in an ask, see what we can get. I liked doing comparison stories before I was with Audi Club, and I was working multi-brand sites, and in addition to Fortitude, and I had access to stuff. Remember one time I did a track event with like TT 3.2 Cayman, which had just come out, and the Z4. Those two were manual, and the TT 3.2, I think they were all DSG, at least the ones in the press fleet were completely different cars. And we did it on track and on road, and like they ranged, right? Like the TT was when we would time everybody and put data recording on each car from the worst to the best driver. The times were tightest on the TT because it was the most easily controllable. And then where you had to like manage balance and grip and all those sorts of things, there was more of I think a greater gap between the best driver and the worst driver. So let's say between the TT and the Cayman. So it's always neat to see that kind of nuance. And if you're not in those cars a lot, you're right. We're kind of situationally blind where we don't know what the latest greatest is from BMW or Mercedes or whomever else. That new Cadillac Blackwing looks interesting, but we don't know. So am I going long? Is that what y'all are texting each other?
No, not at all, George.
Not. That's
I mean,
yes.
I told her.
That's code for yes.
No, but I told her a dad joke about 15 minutes ago, and she just got it. So.
I mean, we did also say 30 minutes, so
Yeah. Are we at? So we're coming up on 10 minutes
5:49
in the hour. So yeah, we'll go a few more questions, but let's comments. Any plans to add ACNA merchandise to the site? Hats, clothing, other product, Audi collection, nice but spendy. Want to take that, Bill, or should I?
I mean, do you want me to go into the deep dive on it, or?
So we have some merch that if you go out and catch us at events, we have some merch that we sell at events. We have been working on getting a store with a website redesign. We'll probably put a store up as well. We had the TeePublic store with t-shirts and stuff. That was a bit of a challenge just because TeePublic is kind of the wild west with people on there with like a lot of different, may not, unlike Audi Club, which has a licensing agreement with Audi. Some people don't put up shirts, designs, and whatever anyway. And so when manufacturers go in and then kind of like IP strike those designs, a lot of ours got taken down too. So we're trying to negotiate a way to get that stuff up in a way that Audi's cool with it and TeePublic's cool with it, whatever. But in the meantime, we do have some stuff. I hope we get it up this year on the site. If not, catch us at events. I know we'll do like Carlisle. We'll do Monterey Car Week. I don't know. We'll have to try and communicate that a little better. Or if there's something specific you're looking for, let us know. But Cliff, great idea. We'd like to, as soon as we have that store live, we'll probably flush it out more. I read it through the day it arrives. It's a great publication. I would love to see some photos of the entire Audi lineup. Yeah, okay. Include classifieds. Classifieds we pulled out. They used to be in the magazine. We pulled them out for this reason. We're quarterly. It's not really relevant for classifieds. That's a more timely thing. By the time you give me
exactly. By the time you get the publication, so
yeah. By the time exactly. By the time you give it to me to put it in the magazine, it's going to be, even if you hold it until the very end of production cycle, it's probably 30 days from when we submit it to when it gets to mailboxes, and most cars are going to be sold by then. I will say one of the last cars to drive or to go through the classifieds was Karen Chadwick's S6 Avant. and I bought it. So I think I bought it when I was editing the magazine, and I saw she was selling it, and I bought it before the magazine ever got out. So sorry, guys, but yeah, that's why we don't do it, in all seriousness. And I think that's for the best. I know Porsche Club still does it. They also have a lot more pages than we do in each issue. So a lot of the back of the book, classified stuff is there. We rather have a thicker page. It just feels a little more, upscale. And then we have, of course, Facebook group has classifieds also. So if you look up audiclub.na.org, or sorry, Audi Club North America /classifieds or /classifieds on Facebook, you'll find our group there. And that's pretty robust. And then we'll be adding a little bit more to the site when we redesign it. So shall we do, I see we're at 5:52. So I'm going to just breeze through a few more online versions of all articles. Bill is putting more and more on the blog. Some we keep for the magazine only, as it's our kind of premium place. But
yep,
but we'll put more on. So that's a good idea. More stories about old Audis, the history of the club, and instructors and contributing members' profiles. Contributing member profile, that'd be interesting. We could kind of build that out a little bit more. So many new contributing members. That's not a bad idea. Audi history of the club. Love to do more of that. So if you have been around the club for a long time, I would love to hear from you, because one of the stories I threw out that nobody in the group last night had expertise in was we'd like to do a story on Frank Bedore and his, I don't know, for those who don't know, Frank Bedore is the founder of the club. And he rather illustriously early on, when the Sport Quattro was new and not available in the US, he bought several of them and brought them in. The one Audi of America has today is one of Frank's cars. And I think his kids still have a couple of the cars, and several of them are kind of out there in private hands. Would love to know more of that story. And we have our archives here. We can dig around for them. But that's something where, like, if you know that story and you want to kind of contribute to that piece, it's something we'd love to get in this next issue of the magazine. And that's one of the stories on the board from last night's meeting that didn't get assigned because nobody really had an idea of where to go with that one. So if you're listening and you hear this, we'd love to hear from you. So again, admin@audiclub.na.org, or drop me a direct email, george.acorn, ACHORN @audiclub.na.org.
Mm-hmm. I still think you can find that one that says need more pics of me, but that's just,
Do you remember when, I'm going to date, this is before my time, Bill, but do you remember rather famously Burt Reynolds, I think, posed, and was it Cosmopolitan?
Yes.
Yeah, later.
Okay, I'm sorry to the viewers. Yeah. I mean,
so we could do something like that. Maybe we need to add a splashy center to the magazine.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Far away. Yeah, sorry.
You impressed yet, Talia? Is this a fun first podcast?
No, this is wonderful. I wish I had control, so that I could just end it abruptly and awkwardly like I've done in the past.
We got 5 more minutes, Talia. Dead air. All right. So add useful information for current owners, self-maintenance tips and procedures, how to make optimum use of features, tactics for dealing with supply chain caused shortages. Boy, that would be an interesting, that's a timely story. I hadn't even thought of doing something on that, but probably a good time to remind anybody using the Audi Club discount that dealers are in a very challenging time. And so please be patient with them. Whether or not to honor the discount is optional for them. And when you have very little inventory, because the discount only applies to new vehicles, and they have like a small fraction of their normal inventory, it can get a little uncomfortable if you come in and looking for a discount at this time. So if you just have a little patience in that, that'd be great. I'm just bringing that up now because we're talking about dealers and shortages of supply chain. But yeah, we could try and touch on that. And I think we talked to after sales at Audi too about maybe trying to do some more how-to procedures and things that might be helpful there. More insights into how Audi works and makes decisions. We should do more interviews with Audi America folks. We'll have to reach out to our new PR liaisons and see if they can help us with that. More discounts on swag and parts. We already covered that. Could there be a PDF download? Yeah, we're adding that. I think we already touched on that, didn't we? see if there's 3 question marks. Any idea what that means?
3 question marks?
Yeah.
Inquisitive.
I would like to see at least one article on every issue about Audi technology. So that one's called Tech Talk. It's in the back of the book. That Jim Benoit, who works for a dealer in Minnesota, does a great job with it. He's literally in every issue. So check that out. It's definitely in the back of the book. There are 2 columns in the back of the book that are Jim and also Aaron Plant, who does a little bit more kind of social commentary or things. Those are, you might miss them because they're after like the Audi club news and member profiles and stuff that are at the back of the book. The format's a little bit more like in the old days, if you read Automobile Magazine, like Jamie Kittman or Gene Lindemood were in the back column on the back page of the book. And so that's where you'll find Aaron and you'll find Jim doing the technology thing.
Yep.
Some features probably don't require full page imagery in the background. While often it is nice to utilize the full area of the page, I find many articles difficult to read or focus on because the print does not contrast enough with the imagery in the background. It's just poor editorial formatting. Also, many images are low quality, grainy, and blown up, which doesn't look good, very professional, especially when used as a full page spread. I understand there's a lot of there's a lot of member submitted content for which they cannot control the level of detail, but the imagery should at least be appropriately sized for what is presented, or have someone who knows how to photograph properly reach out to members to help generate higher quality images. Sometimes an issue just looks hacked together from internet content. Wow. I mean, legit. No, I mean, it's a legit hit because we do take all types of photography, right? And that's one of the reasons I think I touched on this earlier. Good photography, good photography, good photography. If you're making a submission, we do try and err on the side of people worked hard on a story. We err on the side of wanting to get it in the book. And sometimes with I think back on like the Dakar preview we did in the last issue, we don't always have the highest res photography of some of the stuff. And sometimes we have to wing it a little bit. We do our best there. I will say, I'll make some comments to Matt too, who's our layout editor. There's some things like we can work on the contrast of the words and the photos. I will say I do emphasize to him, I like big splashy images. When you're dealing with a magazine, I want pretty pictures, and we have this big, beautiful space to work with. We're working with a high grade material for the magazine, and when you have higher grade photos, I like doing that. So that presents some challenges for him, where I think the magazine used to box photos more and then have white space with words on them. While that's more functional, I don't think it's quite as pretty. And we also do the blog, where you can read a lot of that stuff, and you don't have lettering over imagery, just because of the way the blog format goes out. So we try and make it a little bit, we emphasize on the graphic side. You might not think that if you're hitting us on the photo quality, but yeah, the other thing is, maybe we set up some photo, consulting sessions. What would you call it? Like seminars on, maybe we use Zoom or go Facebook Live or something, and try and get some people together to do, we could get like Dennis or some others who have some clear, obvious photographic skill, who could maybe give some tips on folks who want to shoot. A lot of it's equipment though, too, guys. I mean, if you're shooting on an iPhone, or an Android, on a phone of any sort, that's a bit of a difference than shooting on a DSLR, which is a bit of a difference from shooting on some expensive glass, big lenses that'll really get you some great results. So, the best camera is the camera you have in your, on you at a time something happens. But yes, we'll look into doing some photographic seminars too. That's 601, and I think I could go further.
I know you can, but you know what?
We've already put enough people to sleep, Bill. Is that what you're saying?
No, George. Why do you think Talia has her camera off? Oh, maybe because she's on an Apple product. Who knows? Right, Talia?
Yeah. I still gotta say,
it's actually because her dog keeps mugging her every 5 seconds. So
yeah,
it's very true. It's highly distracting.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to a couple of these comments, and then we'll wrap this one up, and we'll name our winner. I really wish the winner could be the person who said marketing crap from Audi, remove. But I know we're randomly picking it. So who knows, maybe I don't have a name next to that comment. I don't know who said it. But man, it's my favorite comment of the night. Let's see here. Tread lightly here, George. I don't even know what I was saying, but I was probably saying something idiotic. Last question. How does the speaker sound? I'm gonna guess that's me. Terrible. Do I sound all right?
No, maybe they're talking about the speaker you got this morning. I'm not sure.
Oh, my Acorn speaker.
Acorn speaker.
I got a really great Bluetooth Acorn speaker, and I have no idea who sent it. Do I tell you?
Nope, no idea. It's pretty good though. I would not call it corny at all.
Corny. Poor George this morning was just going through flashbacks of elementary school and middle school and people making fun of Acorn. And
I'm going through my head.
Let me tell you, I wasn't trying to stifle any of that at all.
The gears in my head were turning to try and come up with some funny dad joke that I could respond to Talia with, and all of them were covered today on Facebook. So I feel like I can't copy somebody with their roasting jokes or their whatever.
It's
anyway.
Okay. I mean, squirrels don't have opposable thumbs, so I'll give you a pass.
Ben said, "I'm glad you enjoy the comments on that picture. It was a fun post. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you saw it." Tim Maskus, evening, gentlemen. Great to hear from him. Love Tim, and he's currently working on that Michelle Mouton car out in Michigan. So
no doubt.
Neat. Yeah. Anything else, guys? Oh, we have a winner we have to name.
Yes. For our 3-day rental provided by Silver Car by Audi. And we did let me get to it. I don't think I can share the screen, obviously. But we did boom. Okay, so we did a random check. We didn't have, like George said, we didn't have names on the survey. We had membership numbers. So we ran through all the numbers, and our winner is Robert Gray from the Northwest chapter out in Portland, Oregon. Awesome. We've looked at the areas, the Silver Car rental locations in the area, which is Audi Seattle and Audi Tacoma. But you don't have to just use them like that. If you're flying somewhere that has a Silver Car location, you can use it there also. So we'll be contacting Robert shortly with all the deets on how to get his free 3-day rental provided by Silver Car by Audi.
And for reference, Robert, if you or anybody else, if you want to book a Silver Car, again, everything they have is Audi, so you can't go wrong. It's not like, budget where you're choosing every car on the aisle and they're all Chevy Cruises or whatever. But
Dodge Neon.
Yeah. But we both dated ourselves with those references. Neither of those cars are produced anymore. You realize that, right? So,
wow.
Yeah.
It only
but
seemed
anyway,
like 40 years ago.
Yeah. Website is silvercar.com. And I just saw they're giving up 15% off today too. Discount code first 15.
Right. But also, if you're an Audi Club member and you log in behind the paywall, there is a special discount for Audi Club members back there too. We can't give it out publicly because we can't. It's such a good deal. But log in, go behind the paywall, and you'll be able to see the discount. If you can't find it, email us at admin@audiclubna.org.
Yeah, special thanks to Silver Car that they helped fund that survey, and we look forward to doing a lot with it. I will say on the magazine, there are a lot more comments here, some good stuff, some stuff that maybe we may or may not agree with for various reasons, but a lot of great suggestions that can help us improve the experience. So thank you to all who spoke openly and honestly, and sometimes critically, but that's okay. And we'll hope to improve it even further for you.
I still love you. See, this is why I have all the fans, George, because I love everybody.
Yeah. Less Audi corporate crap.
Let's get a T-shirt made up with that says that.
Yeah, so. I'm sure that'll go over swimmingly. I bet they'll let us use the logos too. That'll be great. All right. Well, I guess that's a wrap. We're at like 6:06. I'm going to cut this one off in an hour because I think it's probably about 55 minutes too long on this subject. But next time around, we're looking to get this back going again with the podcast, and a lot of stuff around, in particular, either the next issue. I'm hoping to catch up with a couple of people that we'll be focusing on in the next magazine. I'm going to reach out to one of the previous owners of the quattro we're giving away.
Oh my God, we're giving away an quattro. I forgot.
We are giving away. Should we? Wow. You want to talk about that quick?
I mean,
We're doing our first vintage car giveaway.
But it is
Is this
rally up. Yes, nobody tells me anything around here. But I do know that the website is go.rallyup.com/Audi Club Quattro Sweepstakes. You can find reference to it on the front page of our website also. We do have a microsite also that's associated. So if you go to the Rally Up site, you'll see the microsite there. You can click on that. George is doing a lot of that. She's trying to do a lot of daily updates. We're excited because this car is it's in our possession. It's the first time we've ever done something like this, and we've always given away new cars, the latest, the greatest. We're looking backwards now, back to the future, back to the past.
But it's cool to like. We want to do more vintage cars in the future. This is our first one. Why not start with our Quattro, the car that started it all? The danger to having this car in person, one is I'm falling in love with it.
Oh my God, yes.
But two, because it's an older car, right? Like it's a build, it's a 20 valve, it's like 300 plus horsepower and drives really great. Test drove it, but like it needs a couple of things that we're going to. It doesn't necessarily need them. It's great the way it is, but why not upgrade if you have a little bit of budget left? And I did. So we've got some announcements over the next couple days and weeks. It's going to involve companies like Caro, where we're doing some neat stuff. So Formworks, you know who they are. We'll get into that later, but
it's dangerous for you too, since you have an 85 also. And
yeah, can I just buy 2 of everything? Well, with the Caros, I guess 4. But yeah, we'll have to.
But please, I mean, I don't know if you can see Talia's graphic that she has instead of her face, but it says "Win this car from Audi Club," and it is a Zermatt Silver 1985 or Quattro Coupe 20 valve build. We're pretty excited about it. We're gonna, there'll be a lot more coming out on it.
Yeah, that goes to end of June. So buy tickets between now and then.
Yep.
We'll be doing a lot of cool stuff in between too, just like the R6. We're going to be doing some promotions, so check those out. And we should probably end this. Get a little wordy.
A little wordy.
Especially Talia. I find she's frankly,
man, we can.
It's compounding.
It's like a fire hose just gushing out. She just, right. We got to shut the valve.
I'll be here all night, not on live. So thanks everyone, all 10 of you for tuning in and watching. Have a great night.
Have a great night. Thanks, Talia.
Thanks everybody. And what's up, Ryan? Saw he joined right at the end. So hope all's well. Thanks everybody.
Thanks. Good night. And be careful out there, as they said. Whew.